Hey, Tony Gaskins here. One of the things I've been thinking about here lately, I was reading the comments and I can't remember what it was that triggered the thought, but as you pay attention now to right now what we getting ready to go through, I was looking on YouTube and I seen all these different guys talking about the real estate crisis and so many people talking about real estate about to be worse than 2008. Now, ironically, if you are a realtor or you do anything in real estate, you should try to do YouTube right now because YouTube love to promote videos about the real estate crash. So you could be making $10,000 a month doing YouTube. I'm seeing guys getting hundreds of thousands of views doing the same videos every day about the real estate market about to crash. So yeah, they about to make me switch over, start talking about real estate. I don't know nothing about it. But listen to me. One of the things that in this season right here, what you about to notice, and I want you to think about this specifically to the black women, but if you another woman of color, whatever it is, Asian, Hispanic, if you a black man watching this, but to people of color, not necessarily white people. Some white people, if you have money and you come from low income, but it's really mostly going to be targeted at people of color because people of color are traditionally known as less educated because of racism and systemic racism and all of this stuff that goes on in America. So therefore, if you come from low income, then your on average, our financial literacy is much less. We have much less financial literacy, and I'm one of those people, but I also see it all around me. And I also notice it in just everyday coaching. Like, I coach so many single women who make good money but have no savings. Like, and a lot of people say they'll have a savings, but they don't really be having a savings because they still be needing a payment plan. And that's just common. It's nothing we should be ashamed about it and we should be working on it, but it is common. It's not out of the ordinary. But here's the thing. When you think about what we getting ready to go through, right now, a company came to me and they want a 30% return off of me. But the way I do business, I get 1,000% return. So me giving somebody a 30% return, it doesn't really matter to me. But if you're not taking a loan or getting money and investing it to make a higher return than what you paying back. So for example, if you use your credit card and then you finance yourself on your credit card interest rate may be a minimum of like 18%, but most will be like 24% and up. If you just use the card and you go shopping and you buy some new clothes, some new shoes, and you don't use those clothes to go out and do work as an entrepreneur looking dapper and fresh, then you just paying money, you losing money. Now, if you take that credit card and you invest it in business, and let's say you spend $1,000 and you get, with that $1,000, you get 100, 200. Let's say you get 200 shirts, and your 200 shirts, you're going to sell them for $25 a piece. So you're going to make $5,000. So now you just turn $1,000 into $5,000. And let's say you sell them 200 shirts in 1 year, which you should be able to sell them faster than that. So now you just turn $1,000 investment into $5,000. So you just had a 500% return, depending on how you calculate it. 500% return, and now, but you paying 24%. So that's what I mean by, if you're not taking the money that you're getting, like if you get a loan, if you're not taking that money and investing in it and making more than the interest that you're paying, then you getting used like a duck. But what I want you to realize is that right now, one thing I notice is that the black woman, the most coveted dollar in the world, is the dollar of the black woman. And the reason why is because black women are the most single in the world. So therefore, there are more black women per capita. I don't even know what per capita means, but it sounds good right there, so we're going to use it. There are more black women per capita that are single with no kids than any other race in the world. So what do black women do? Because black women, so many black women don't have a husband and don't have kids, they working. So black women are leading the #1 degree getting demographic in the world and the #1 entrepreneurial bracket in the world, meaning black women are starting LLCs per capita more than any other demographic in the world. So right now I'm looking at a commercial, they showing a black woman. All of our entire life, we have seen white people in commercials. And it has been traditionally just white people in commercials. When you sit down today, if you watch Hulu, which shows commercials, or you just turn on your cable TV, you're going to see about every commercial, or not every, but several commercials now have a black woman in it. If you watch a Chevrolet commercial, a Nissan commercial, Toyota commercial, BMW commercial, a Target commercial, any kind of insurance commercial, you seen black women. And on top of just seeing black women, now what you also seeing, which was never shown before, is you seeing black women in the commercial with a white husband or a white boyfriend. So that is programming to say, black women, y'all men is trash and y'all are divesting. So let us reinforce this divesting and the black female exodus. So like right now, I'm watching commercials now while I'm doing this. They showing this little bicycle. Not a little bicycle, a little leg thing. The first lady they put in there, woman, a Hispanic lady, woman of color. Now another Hispanic lady. They got a white woman in here, and they got a white man in here. Now, this one, they ain't got no black woman. But the first, they lead woman of color. Now, they trying to be diverse, but they ain't got no budget. Whatever city they shot that little raggedy commercial in. That little raggedy commercial, I need to do me a commercial. That commercial's so terrible for my new product coming out. And so, I want you to start paying attention, and you're going to start to notice this. And when we get ready to go through, to every black woman listening to me, and if you want to lump yourself in this here group, you can, but I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to black women. Do not buy a car. Do not buy a car. And do not buy a house. They are scamming black women. I coach so many black women that done went and bought a house and got scammed. You buying a house and you do not own the house, because you have to pay property taxes for the rest of your life. You do not own the house. On top of owning this house, you think you owning this house, now you got to fix the roof. You got to fix the air conditioning. You got to fix anything go broke in this house. Then on top of that, you single. Don't a man want to move into a house that you already own? Because for one, he feel like a lame and a Rudy Poo moving into a house that you already own. Don't no man want to move into no woman house, not no provider man. And then now you not finna be able to sell your house. The market's finna crash. So you paid $1 million for your house. No, you didn't pay $1 million. You paid $300,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 for your house. You gonna be lucky if you get to sell your house. Cause the market, when the market crash, if it crash like they said it's finna crash, your $400,000 house finna be worth $300,000. But you on the hook based on your 30 years. 30 years, I want you to look at your mortgage. If your mortgage is 30 years, what you pay per month, and then do the math. A lot of these mortgages today, you get a $400,000 house, you finna pay $1 million on mortgage payments. And you might pay more than that because your insurance going up every year. So when your insurance going up every year, your mortgage payment going up. Now, you mess around and lose your job in a recession, and then you get a roof leak, what you gonna do? If you lose your job, now, instead of being able to just up and move and break a lease, now you got to file bankruptcy, so you got to go into foreclosure to move back home. Y'all stop buying houses because they hitting you across the head. The bank saying, oh, come on over here, Negro. We done let you out of slavery. You out here doing good. You over there lonely as could be. You over there single as a dollar bill. Come on over here and let me give you this $250,000 house. And let me let you slip on through the cracks, because the white people ain't coming in here and buying a house because they understand financial literacy and they understand the market about to crash. But you so happy to be free and just got done celebrating your Juneteenth. Juneteenth sale. Come on in here. Zero down on your mortgage. Juneteenth. Woohoo. Oh, you're from Texas? Oh, you know what? You're so smart. I've seen this little country bumpkin from Florida online talking about Juneteenth, but because you're from Texas, you understand the importance of Juneteenth. So yeah, what we're doing for Juneteenth, we're doing zero down mortgages. And so you coming on in there, and they finna sit you down and give you that $400,000 house, and you finna pay $1.2 million for it. But the thing about it is, you're gonna lose the house before you even get paid for it. So you're gonna be done paid. You gonna be done paid up the $400,000 you bought the house for. But on top of that, you're gonna be toughing it out and hanging in there. You're gonna be done paid $700,000. Then when it's time to move, or you ready to move, or you finna get married, now you got to sell the house. You done paid $700,000 on your house, and now your house finna sell for $400,000. You done flushed $300,000 down the toilet, which you could have started a weave business. You could have started a salon. You could have started what else? You could have started any kind of business in the world with that $300,000 you just flushed down the toilet, that them people done got from you, that the bank done got from you, when you could have been renting a nice high rise downtown, or you could have been renting the house and you could up and move. You ain't got nothing but you and your clothes. You could have up and moved. Or if you got kids, same thing. That's fun. The kids, they want to move. Unless they just in this amazing school, the kids want to move. They want to get into a new. When you renting, you could up and move every year if you want to. Every 2 years, you ain't doing nothing but moving. You getting to do it. You getting to experience a different neighborhood. You getting to experience different restaurants. You getting to experience a different city. Keep your agency. Stop letting these people who had you enslaved tell you that buying a house is the American dream. That's the American nightmare. That's a scam. Buying a house, I got scammed too. I own a house. It's a scam. I own a house, but guess what? You know why I own a house? Because I'm married. Because women, y'all think owning a house is accomplishment. And it's a lot of slow men that think owning a house is accomplishment. Owning no house ain't no accomplishment, because you could lose it any day. And now you done flush all that money down the toilet. Oh, well, you flush it down the toilet when you're renting. No, you didn't. Because when you thought you was owning it, you wasn't doing nothing but renting it anyway. So you might as well would have been should have been renting, because now the money that you had to pay on your roof and your AC and your property taxes and your HOA, all that money that you spent, you would have saved that money had you been renting. But see, we'd have been tricked to believe that buying a house is, oh, you rich now. Oh, you got an asset. No, you do not. You have a expensive liability. You got a luxury liability is what you got. And you could lose it any day. These people waiting on me to pay my property tax. But one time they thought they had me. I ain't know nothing about owning no house. I ain't know nothing about no property taxes. I get a letter, I'm 3 years behind on property taxes. My house about to go up for a tax deed sale. I had to pay $36,000 at one time. Boy, I know whoever had that tax deed was sitting there licking their face. The guy was an ex-slave. The guy was an ex-slave, don't know nothing about owning no house. Then you realize you got to pay property taxes because he ain't got no mortgage on his house. So he ain't realize we finna have us old nice house. There go the check. Give him a house. Yeah, thank you. Guess what? They ain't gonna get me again. But that was a learning curve. I really wasn't even thinking about it. I really homestead exemption and all that. Listen, man, I come from nothing. I ain't know nothing about all that. And so this how they getting us. They got y'all. They got you in these cars. You got a 24% interest rate on your car, 22% interest rate on your car, 18%, 15%, 12%. Take your car and look at how much the sticker said when you bought it. What you signed on that bottom line when you bought that car. And now take how many years you financed it for. How many months? 84 months, 72 months, 60 months. Probably the least you did is 60 months. But some of you probably did 72, 84 months trying to get the payment lower. Now take that payment that you pay every month and then multiply it by that 84 months. And see how much that's going to come out to. And that's going to let you know how much over what you thought you got that car for. But that's how they getting us. So the thing about it is, they taking and saying, listen, we done let you off the plantation. You done went to college. You done got a college degree. But you still ain't got financial literacy. So we finna get you into a house. We finna overlook some of the credit issues you done had. Or we finna reward you for your good credit, and we finna give you this house, but you finna pay 3 times. You finna pay 3 times what this house is worth with this here interest rate we finna hit you with. And then anytime you default, don't mess around and go through no issue in your life and lose your job. Don't mess around and get laid off in the pandemic. Don't mess around and get laid off in the recession and then lose your job, and then you applying everywhere and you can't get on nowhere because everybody hurting, and because you got a 16-letter name, because your black American mama thought she was being cute give me this 16-letter name. Now it's hard for you to get another job. And so now when you go 3 months behind on your mortgage, we finna foreclose on your house, and everything you done spent, you don't get no rebate check, you don't get no refund check, all that come to us. Now we finna take your house, and then we finna rent your house out. We finna rent your house out for double what the mortgage you was paying. And now we done made money off of you. Now we finna make money off of rental, and we finna have this bank-owned home. When had you not bought the house and instead had you rented it, when you lost your job, you could have just broke your lease, took a little credit hit if you need to, move in with your homegirl, or move in with your parents, or move in, get your roommate, and now y'all splitting the rent, and you done been good. Now you got a foreclosure on your credit. And now because Tony Gaston made this video trying to give you some gain, now you finna list your house for sale, and then realize that your house ain't finna sell, and that we done got you in this house over the last 2-3 years, and you done paid the highest of the market, and now the market finna crash, and your house could lose 40 to 60% if we go through a real bad crash. But regardless of what crash we go through, your house finna lose at least 20% worth of what you paid for. So you paid $400K, you finna lose $80,000 on this house. This house finna be worth $320, but you paid $400. But based on your mortgage payments for 30 years, you in for $1 million. Try me if you want to and try to get out this here mortgage now. Now I'm finna hit your credit. It's finna be on your credit forever. You finna get a foreclosure and then never be able to buy again. But with the foreclosure, we ain't even gonna let you be able to get into no apartment to rent. So you're gonna have to go bed, bar, and steal. Might go back to stripping after you done graduated from the pole and got off the pole, or you done graduated from your flipping burgers in college, or whatever job you was doing when you was making your way up. Now you got to go back, crawl back, get that job back, and then you got to rob Peter to pay Paul, because you don't want this foreclosure on your credit, because you ain't even finna be able to get no apartment, or you finna have to file bankruptcy, and bankruptcy finna sit on that credit for 10 years. And yeah, although Donald Trump filed bankruptcy, you not Donald Trump. So when you get to go in and you get to apply for your next loan that you trying to get, because you black, you not finna get approved for it with that bankruptcy on your credit like the white man get approved for it, because we got sole discretion on whether we want to approve you or not, because the letter of the law based on our lending practices say we don't have to approve you if you got a bankruptcy. But we gonna take our chances and hope that we not gonna get audited and see and show that we approve 30 to 40% of the white men who had filed bankruptcy for this loan, but we denied 90% of the black women who had filed bankruptcy and came and applied for this loan. We ain't gonna tell you that, and we don't think nobody in this area got enough money to go get a civil attorney and then go audit our books and file a lawsuit on us. So we're gonna take our chances and deny you. And so this is the thing. And the reason why I'm saying everything I'm saying is fact-based, because I coach women who have 16-letter names. And I know most of the people who doing the hiring is white. I done heard them white people say on an interview, when they see one of these complicated names, they just flip right on past it. I just listened to a man said that he said on an interview, I don't know what the man's name is. I can't, if it's Ray Dalio or whoever it was. He was doing an interview, and he racist. He was doing an interview with this guy named Tom Bilyeu, and Tom Bilyeu, he not gonna bring somebody like me on there, because they don't want to bring black people with sense on there. They like to bring coons on they talk shows. And so Tom interviewed this man. He got a podcast called Impact Theory. And go over there, tell him bring Tony Gaskins on there. So he interviews a fool. I don't know the man's name. I can't remember the man's name, if it was Ray Dalio or somebody else. But he interviewed a man, and the man say that if you black, he really ain't say black, he said of color. He said if you black, or basically he was saying if you black or you gay and you go and apply for a job, you get overlooked because of these lawsuits, because of the DEI lawsuit, diversity, equity, and inclusion lawsuits. So he just admitted, from being a white man who behind the scenes with these other white men, he said out his mouth, he said, you got to be so good. He said, you got to be twice as good. He said, you got to be so good at what you do if you of color or you fit inside a DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, because these companies, basically what he was saying in code is these white people are afraid to be sued if they fire you. So he's saying that companies are no longer trying to hire black women and black men and or gays or whoever. He really was talking about blacks, but he tried to cover it like he talking about all type of minority. He said because if they fire you, they at risk for a lawsuit. So he telling you right there, he didn't even realize what he was saying, and he was stuttering because he wanted to be real. He wanted to tell the truth because he on the spot and he talking, but he didn't even understand what he was saying. He didn't even understand that he was giving away the code. Tom Bilyeu don't even realize that he just had this racist man on there talking. And then the man went on to talk about, I was asleep listening to it, and it woke me up. And then the man was talking about, he comparing Nigerian. He said, look at Nigerian. He said, they come over here and they got more money than white people. And he said, they look just like everybody else. He talking about black people. He talking about black Americans. And so he was like, but they don't make excuses. So now the man saying black Americans make excuses, not realizing that a Nigerian don't have the trauma that a black American got. Because for a Nigerian who come to America, this a land of dreams. For a black American, this a land of nightmares. We didn't leave Nigeria and come over here by choice. We were drug over here on a boat and then made to be slaves. So our trauma is different. Of African who come from Africa to over here by choice don't come over here with the same trauma that a black person who was born in a living hell and who's been treated like an outcast. And one thing that we know is because an African does not have the same, they black just like a black American, but they last name tells that they not black American. And so we know as black Americans that a white American prefers a Nigerian or any other type of African over a black American because we know they know what they did to us. And they know that the African is coming over here with hope in their eyes, with a dream, with a plan, and a vision. They coming over here to work their butt off and they gonna bust their butt. That is completely different than a black American who was born in the ghettos of America, who was discriminated against and mistreated and dogged out and wasn't even given the opportunity to sweep floors and to do internships and do all of this. And the large part of us were not. And so we had to figure out how to scam, how to sell drugs, how to get ahead because of being overlooked for Mexicans and Nigerians and Indians and Chinese and all of this, because we as black Americans, African Americans who have been over here, and we don't have a traditional, even though I am part Nigerian, my last name come from white people. Whereas Nigerians, their last name come from Nigeria. So that's a dead giveaway on an application, a Nigerian or another African last name. They know the difference. Whereas a black man like Tony Gaskins, they don't realize I'm black unless I check the box on there because I got a white man name. And so, well, if I was Jamal Gaskins or something like that Gaskins, then they assume I might be black and they got to look and see if I check the box. And if not, they call me in for an interview, then they'll see I'm black. But see, this the truth that even some Africans don't realize. A lot of Africans don't realize that, yeah, you got a story to tell. Africans got a story to tell. And they got a lot that they don't seen and experience. But if an African family come over here, they coming with a dream, a vision, and a plan. And that's why a naturalized citizen is 4 times more likely to become a millionaire than a natural born citizen. Because when you born in it, you don't see the opportunity. You see obstacles until you meet the right people or you raised a certain way to see opportunity. So me being who I am, and every black American that you see successful, 99% of black Americans that you see successful, we're an anomaly. So I don't know. My mom has 11 siblings and my dad has 11 siblings. So I'm a living witness and a living testimony. I am the only person in my entire family on both sides that has the success that I have. I'm the only person that earns 7 figures. There's no other person in my family on either side that I can schedule a vacation with and they can pay their way. None. So when black people make it out and black people make it up, we are an anomaly. And that, but see, now what happened is The one thing that does not matter is the color of your money, because guess what color the money is that black people spend? Green. It's not black. Green. But what they're not going to be honest about is, I'm gonna give you an example. When you buying a car, when you buy a car, this what happens. When you go to the car dealership and you apply for a car loan, the bank will tell the car lot that your interest rate based on your credit has to be 5%. That car lot can raise your interest rate up to X amount of percent. Let's say they could raise it up to 9%. If you are black, that finance manager can say they saw something on your credit and they're going to give you a 9%. A white woman could come in right after a black woman and the bank offers the same rate of 5% and they give her a 7%. Now, if they hurting for money and for sales, they're going to give everybody that 9%. But they have discretion on how much they add to your interest rate. They have discretion on that. And that is the price of being black in America, that people say we're making excuses. But if you actually look at the lawsuits and you look at the studies and you go audit the books, and there's people out there like a Patrick Bet-David and these people like the Tom Bilyeu who bring these guys on to talk about this stuff, and they will say that black people making this stuff up, that this stuff is not real. But they themselves will get an application from a LaQuisha Johnson and flip right past it. But then we'll see a Amy Johnson and they'll inquire within to bring Amy in for an interview. And then when they hear from Denisha Johnson, they will skip right over it. When they hear from Jessica Johnson, they're going to inquire within to see what her race is. But they will say that this stuff is being made up. So although a lot of these jobs and a lot of these people don't want to provide an opportunity, what they will do is take your money from you. So right now, they're going to start, because this market is finna crash. And I'm going to tell you something from being in real estate and from owning real estate. Black people pay rent better than any other demographic in the world. Black people pay rent better than any other demographic. You know why? Because black people by nature are a loyal group of people because of slave trauma. So because of the trauma and because of being made to feel less than, black people fear not having, and black people fear losing. Black people fear being without. So black people will go to the end of the world and back to pay their rent. But when you watch the news, you will always see a white man or a white woman on the news for squatting. They are in a house or a townhouse or an apartment, and they are doing a news story on this person because they understand the tenant laws. There's a lady who is renting a mansion in California who has been living in this mansion rent-free for 3 years because there is a law that says the owner has to have done something with the structure of the house. And if the house has this particular type of structure or something going on, the tenant does not have to pay. And the owner cannot evict the lady, cannot get her out, and cannot dislodge her, displace her to fix what is wrong with the house. So this lady is living in his house rent-free, and it is a mansion. And she knew the laws. That's the kind of stuff that white people are able to do because they raised with financial literacy, and they raised with investment knowledge, and they raised by entrepreneurs a lot of times, so they understand. So if a white person is raised by a real estate entrepreneur or a real estate investor, and they see their mother or father go through a case where they cannot evict this particular tenant, they also learn that law. So if they become an adult, when they become an adult, if they fall on hard times, they will know the letter of the law and how to beat the system and how to get over. Whereas a black person who maybe who 9 out of 10 times was not raised by a real estate investor, they don't know the tenant laws. And so there are black people who are renting and other minorities who are renting, and the landlord will give them a contract that tells them, give them a agreement that tells them they got to pay to fix the AC. They got to pay to fix the roof. And they will sign that because they so home scared and don't want to be under a bridge or in a shelter, will sign anything not knowing that they just signed something that is either illegal or unethical. And this is how we are being taken advantage of, because we're not using Google and we're not looking up this stuff. Anything I learned to use Google as my consultant. So any work that I'm doing, I Google about it and I read 4 to 10 articles on it. And I learn the lingo. If I'm having somebody come to fix a roof, come to fix a pool screen, come to fix a AC, I will Google the symptoms that I'm dealing with this issue, and I will see what it most likely is. And even though I know nothing about it, when that worker comes over, I will say to them, yes, this is what's going on. So it's most likely this, or this. And then they look and they like, oh, okay. And then I will Google right in front of them, or I'll pull up. So it's this right here, and then they'll say, "Oh yeah, it's the compressor." I'll Google compressor, AC compressor. I'll say, "Okay, which one is it? This one right here." And now I'm showing them that I'm looking at this item that may say, I'm just making this up, $37.99. So now, because of deductive reasoning, because of critical thinking, because of this here skill that I just employed in front of this worker, now this worker knows that although I don't do what they do, they can't get over on me. And then what I also don't do is I don't show desperation. Every deal that I'm offered, I turn it down first. I turn it down and then I come back with my own terms. I come back with my own terms, and I will walk away from the deal, walk away from the table, walk away from the offer, and I will go without, and I will do without, just to let them know I'm not desperate. You can't just give me anything. And whatever we do, it has to be a win-win. It's not finna be a lose-win. It's not finna be a win-lose. It's finna be a win-win, and at worst, it's going to be a win-lose. But I don't want you to lose. I want you to win too. I don't want to take advantage of nobody. So, but at worst, it's going to be a win-lose. If somebody got to lose, it's finna be you. It's not finna be me. And I'm finna look at it. And I'm finna negotiate. And I'm finna stick to the letter of the law. The last vehicle I bought, I went to the bank directly. I didn't go to the dealership and apply because I know they get to raise the interest rate. I went directly to the bank and applied, and the bank gave me their best interest rate based on my credit. And then I got approved for the car. I told the car salesman, okay, I've been approved for X amount of dollars. He said, okay, cool. When I got down there, they hadn't got me they hadn't got it, and it was the amount that I got approved for plus another $800. And they said, okay, here you go. I said, no, I told you I applied for this amount and I got approved for this amount out the door. They said, yeah, it's just $800 over. You get in this car, this level of car. They just assumed that I had the $800, and I had the $800. But I ain't drive down here 3-4 hours to pick up this car for my wife for Mother's Day for $800 over what I told you I was approved for. I told you what I was approved for. You said yeah. So then they sent 3 different people to talk to me about the 800. I said, listen, I told you what I was approved for. You said yeah. For that amount, I ain't say $1 over. I didn't say a cent over. So y'all got to go back, rework the numbers, and bring me new paperwork. Oh, are you gonna do me like that? Well, what about this? If I do this, if I cover this here 800 for you, will you promise me when you get home you'll send me $800? I said no. I'm not sending you a dime because I told you what I was approved for, and so you need to take this off. Either take off the 800 or I'm walking and I'm not getting a car. Period. You got to understand what stand on business mean, and you got to truly stand on business, and you got to get knowledge. And anybody I talk to about any deal, I will tell them I'm gathering quotes and I'm going to 3 different dealerships, or I'm going to 3 different companies, or I'm going to 3 different service providers, and I'm comparing quotes. So give me your best quote up front because I don't haggle for prices. Give me your best quote. I'm going to other people and I'm comparing. Well, yeah, best price don't always mean the best service. I understand what it means. I'm evaluating y'all all equally across the board, and I'm taking all into consideration. Your reviews, your work history, your prices, your this, your that, your this, your that. Give me your best price, and I'll let you know. And then I'll let them chase me. And then if they come back with a better price the second time around, I said no, because I told you on the first time, give me your best price. So if you coming and giving me a different price, that means you tried to get over on me. Now you're not going to have my business. And I go pay more somewhere else who gave me their best price. And they say, this is our price. We can't change our price. This is our price. It might be more, but because they standing on what they stand on, I'll spend more money than somebody who tried to charge me more than their best price. And so you got to learn these kind of tactics, because right now what's finna happen is, because we getting ready to go through a recession, most likely, we may not, they may start printing money and they may do something different. But because we getting ready to go through, they are going to start going at dumb money. We as people of color who do not traditionally come from 2-parent homes, upper class, upper middle class, or even middle class on average, we are seen and considered dumb money, meaning financially illiterate. So you're going to start getting a lot of sales emails of stuff that you've always wanted and could not get. You're going to get offers that seem too good to be true. You're going to get car offers, house offers, financing offers, all kind of offers. And if you are not in a place where you can print money, meaning you have a business that you can take a loan, you could get a loan and have X amount of interest rate, but you know how to flip that money to make way more than what you finna pay in interest. If you don't have that skill set, if you don't, U.S. home prices hit record high. And they trying to push this here nonsense of hit record high. You know why they hitting record high? Because right now, the banks are giving out dumb money. They giving out money to people because they want somebody to carry them through the recession. And they know that you're going to work and you're going to be paying this mortgage through the recession if you keep your job. And they know that if you lose your job, you're going to tap into, because you're scared of bankruptcy and you're scared of foreclosure, you're going to tap into your 401k. You're going to tap into your credit cards. They know you're going to tap into your rich family. You're going to tap into your regular friends, your regular family. And they know you're going to do any and everything possible to pay this mortgage or to pay this car note through the recession. And that's how they're going to sustain themselves and make money. And so they know that if they give out enough loans, it's going to average out between the people who just flat out default and will not pay. They know they're going to have enough people that's so job scared, that's so money scared, that's so debt scared, that's so credit scared, that they're going to cover, based on the interest rate that we're paying, we're going to cover the people who default on theirs. And so the bank's still going to be able to make it through. And so right now, they're talking about U.S. homes hit record high. They trying to get these houses. They trying to sell the houses before the news reports that the bottom has fallen out of the real estate market. They trying to get dumb money. And the reason why they at high prices, because they know that financially illiterate people who come from low income neighborhoods, who come from broken homes, who come from bad situations, are getting ready to go and get this zero money down mortgage. They finna go get this. Now, ironically, I seen a young white girl on the news who just fell for one of these zero down mortgages on the news. So it's finna be people of all colors now. But they finna go at, and it don't matter your color if you financially illiterate. So what you getting ready to go through right now over the next 2-3 years, over the next at least 1 to 2 years, don't buy nothing. Don't buy a house. Don't buy a car. Instead of buying a car, do Uber. Do Uber, do the bus. You might even want to rent a car, because even though you paying a little more, if you rent a car, you not having to take care of the maintenance. You could rent a car, a compact car, right from National Rent-A-Car. Because with National, you get to sign up with the National app. You go to the airport. You book the car on the app. You go to the airport to pick it up. They may hold $500 because you in the same state. Your license in the same state you renting from. But you're able to rent that car. You can rent it a week at a time. You could go turn it in and make another one. Make another reservation. Get the smallest, cheapest car. You getting points for it. So you're going to start to get free days. You get to go to National. You get to walk out there and you get to pick any car in your category that you reserved. And you drive that car. You just got to put the gas in it. But you don't have to do the oil change. You don't have to do the tires. You don't have to do the transmission. You don't got to do nothing. You could drive it. You could rent for up to 30 days at a time. And so look at that and realize that, okay, if you just in a month where you need transportation, then just go rent a car versus getting in a car note and paying 7%, 10%, 12% and up on interest and having this car and being stuck with the car. You could just get a car 29 days at a time. And yeah, you're gonna look and say, well, this more than a you get a car, let's say it's $50 a day. Yeah, 10 days, that's $500 a month, that's $1,500. So it seems like it's a lot of money. But if you only need it for that 1 month, it average out because you ain't got to fix the tires. You ain't got to do no oil changes. You ain't got to do no filter changes. You ain't got to do none of the maintenance. So yeah, you just spent a good little grip of money right there, but you get to get out of it. And then for that next 30 days, you could do Uber. And it's still gonna average out because yeah, you spent $1,500 instead of having to pay being on the hook for 30,000-40,000. And so it's better to pay that $1,500 for the time that you need it than being on the hook and your credit on the line, so that you could use the car as you really need it. And then you could partner with somebody else who ain't got no car. Y'all could split it and carpool. It could be 3 of y'all splitting it and carpooling. National, when you get the car, you allowed to have up to 9 other drivers. So over this next 12 to 36 months, you got to be very resourceful, and everything come to you, you got to turn it down. So right now, it's a lot of stuff coming to me, a lot of emails. I mean, it's people who circling back from a year ago with loans. I'm getting text messages. I'm getting emails. Everybody trying to loan money. The reason why they trying to loan money, because if they know you got money and they know you work a job, they know that the market is about to crash. And so their money on the market is not going to do them no good, because any money they got in the market it's finna crash. So they know they're gonna lose 10 to 40% with the money on the market. But if they take and give that money to you, they're gonna make money because they charging you interest on the money, and they expecting you to have a job or unemployment or stimulus checks or loans, SBA loans, credit card loans, personal loans. They expecting you to have some type of money so that you are making them money. So you have to take that money. If you're going to get a loan, you got to take that money, and you can't just have a pay bill strategy. You got to have a flip money strategy. You got to be able to flip that money so that you making more than the interest you paying. And then you got to be able to pay it down as fast as you can out the money that you done flipped and made. So you flip the money, get that money. FDA authorizes vape, and we so lost. We so lost. People out here vaping and doing all this different stuff. So I want you to think about this, because they're going to be trying to get you. They're going to try to get you on a car. They're going to try to get you on a credit card. They're going to try to get you on a house. They're going to try to get you on personal loan. Now, if you absolutely need the personal loan or whatever, you got to do the loan because you done lost your job and you got to pay bills, and you needed to pay bills, or you needed to float you for a period of time till you get another job. For one, you got to be resourceful on getting that job. Do any kind of job other than stripping and selling your body. Do any kind of job. Don't be afraid of McDonald's. Don't be afraid of whatever it is. Retail, restaurant. Don't be afraid of it. At home, customer service. Do any kind of job you got to do to get a job. Get over your pride and all of that, and get that job coming in, and then pay down that loan that the money you done used up. Pay it down as soon as possible, and then get rid of it. Do not carry nobody through don't carry nobody through this here recession. Instead, work, make money, and pay your hard bills. Don't do nothing with no interest loan interest rate if you ain't already got it. If you already got a car, okay, cool. The car market is pretty much crashing, the bubble pretty much crashing, busting. So if you got a car and you got it in the pandemic, you got it over the last few years, you might want to take it to CarMax and take it to AutoNation and just get a quote on it. They are already losing their money because they was offering a lot of money for used cars. Now they looking at what you owe, and they offering you what you owe. They was offering 30-40% over what you owe, 10% at the minimum over what you owe a year ago. Now they look at what you owe and they offering what you owe. But yet they still trying to sell cars for more than it's worth. Because they know that they could get over on you until the news start reporting that they can't get over on you. Until the news report. But see, what you got to realize is the media is in cahoots with the government. The media is ran by the government. So the government not going to let the news do. They getting stuff from the White House. They getting memos from the White House. Hey, do not cause unrest. Do not cause civil unrest. We are still in a good market. We still priming the market. We still doing good. Do not report that we are going through a crash and that this and that is going on. The news being told you can't do this because you're going to cause panic. And the actual reporter might not get the memo, but the owner of that network gonna get the memo, and they gonna let their people know. They gonna let their people know. They gonna let their people know. And then the scripts that's being wrote. So if you notice, it still ain't a lot of scripts on the news that's talking about doom and gloom. Like I just seen what they telling right now is home prices hit a record high. So that's trying to say, if it's saying hit a record high, then that's trying to say we in a booming market. Because why would it be at a record high if we not in a booming market? And so you got to think about it. Look, right now I'm looking at GTE Financial, they trying to get you to get a credit card, and they giving you 0% interest out the gate, but they know with this recession hit, you gonna have to charge that card. After you get out that 0% APR, you going 12 to 18% APR, and that's how they gonna make money to offset what they money is losing on the market, or they gonna put their money safe to where they're gonna have a bottom and they're not gonna lose money, but they're gonna be making money off your 18%. And the reason why they're gonna charge you 18% instead of 12 is because when you got to charge that card up, you ain't just charging their card up, you charging up other cards. So now, because your cards got a high volume, that you're gonna qualify for the 18% interest rate versus the 12% interest rate. And now they finna make 18% off you year on top of year, year over year. And because of the recession and because of inflation and because of the money issues, they know you're gonna have to be paying that minimum balance forever, and they're gonna be making that 18% off of you every year. And that's how they gonna win. And then by the time the market come back, you still paying your 18% interest. So you got to start Googling and getting knowledge, reading articles and learning before you buy anything, before you do anything. You got to get the knowledge, and you got to be preparing yourself, and you got to make sure that you're not spending dumb money. That the money you spend got to be smart money. And see, the thing about it is one thing my dad always say when he be talking to my sister and my mama. He'll say Tony could do that because Tony know how to make money. Tony could spend how he want to spend because Tony know how to make money. And that's the truth. I done created a business to where I could print money because I done put enough products and enough services out there to where I can always be in demand because I'm providing value. You got to learn how to provide value, and you got to learn what do you have that people will always need. So what do you have? What do you do? Just like, for example, YouTube may take a hit on the advertising dollars. They may take a hit if the company stop advertising as much. But if you got a YouTube channel, they still gonna be in business, and companies still gonna be spending money because companies still gonna need to acquire new customers. So they still gonna have to allot some money, even if it's not as much as they allotted 2 years ago. They're gonna have to allot some money to still acquire new customers to remain in business through the recession. So therefore, if you got a voice and you got a YouTube, you now are gonna be recession proof. Even though you may make less, you still gonna be able to make something, and that's just one stream of income. And you can use that money to pay your bills, but you also could use that money to invest. And now you can invest, and you can invest it in something that people will still buy and need. Because even though people will be in hard times, they will still buy luxuries. People will still buy material goods. People will still buy things because it's going to make them feel good in the midst of a depression, in the midst of a recession, in the midst of what's going on in the world, all the calamity. People will still buy food for comfort. They will buy material goods for retail therapy. They will still go out and have experiences, and they still gonna live even if they got to max out a credit card, because you only live once and tomorrow's not promised. So therefore, in the midst of the recession, you still can create a product that will sell even in a recession. So you got to start thinking about not just how you can spend your money and what you're doing for retail therapy and what you're doing for comfort food and what you're doing for peace and solace and happiness, but you got to think about how can you multiply your money and not only be a consumer but be a provider. So that way, whatever you spending, you're getting it back because of the service or product that you are providing to others. So think about this, and we're going to touch on these different little things. And I want to start seeing y'all Singles with no kids, y'all, it's no excuse for y'all not to have a job and for y'all not to have savings. It is no excuse. Y'all got to do better. Us with kids is different because kids cost and we don't get a break from them kids. If you don't have kids, you ought to be sitting on something where you can invest in yourself and you can flip money. Hey, this Tony Gasson. God bless you. I got to do another interview. Stay tuned Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you lock in and watch those interviews. Support those students of Tony Gasson Academy and they business ventures. See what they got going on and let it inspire you. Let it inspire you to get on your grind. God bless you. We'll talk soon.